Gears of War Damnation, Chapter 3, Into the Dark. Hey! Hey! Slow down! Stop! My brother pulled over on the side of the road. We needed a brief moment to collect ourselves. I needed to stop him because after what we just witnessed, after what happened to our parents, he wasn't in the right mind to drive. He was literally slamming, the gas pedal so hard. We were going about like 80, 90 down the road, and I knew that if we didn't take a moment to collect ourselves, that next thing we knew we were going to be flying off the road or something. We stopped, and what felt like an eternity was only about a few minutes or so of just sulking and trying to figure out what we're going to do next. We couldn't go back to the city because, well, for all we knew, it was pretty much taken over and gone. And we couldn't go back to the house, obviously, because those things were all there. The only option at this point was to go forward. We drove for about 2 or 3 hours or so, and it started to get dark. It was definitely around 6 p.m. or so, and this time of year, the sun starts going down around this time. So we knew we needed to get somewhere safe, somewhere else soon. Because this driving down the road forever, we're running low on gas, and for all we knew, the second that we were out of gas, we were doomed, because there was no way we were going to be able to defend ourselves against anything like that. So we just kept driving in hopes that we'd run into something soon. Our prayers were answered when we actually came across a small town. Very, very small town. They were obviously like run-of-the-mill and just didn't have anything. They weren't a city. It was kind of just more like a little dinky town that just no one ever went to. We needed medical supplies, so we immediately pulled into the town. My head was still knocked open from when the wall busted, and I was losing blood fast. I was starting to get really lightheaded. I needed stitches. We immediately went to the closest nearby medical station that we could find there, and there was a few COG soldiers there as well. They immediately looked at us and let us in so we can get our assistance that we needed. The doctors immediately patched us up, and once we let them know what happened to us, they understood and were also panicked because they thought that the creatures weren't as close as they were. Yeah, we were about a few hours away from our grandparents' house, but they were moving quick, and it was going to be a matter of time before the creatures reached this town. There was a little kid there, a little girl about 7 years old, playing with a few of her toys nearby. I think she was one of the doctor's kids. I don't know. And when she saw us and saw how hurt we were, she got scared. And she wanted to know what was going on. But of course, the doctor didn't let her know. She was completely oblivious to what was happening to the world right now. There was a few stuff about it on the news, and she was going to go watch TV, but they automatically forbade her. They didn't want her to know anything. And I don't blame them. So we were patched up, we got our gas that we needed, but we decided to stay there for the night because, like one of the soldiers told us, we weren't going to make it if we got caught off by one of those things, especially in the dark. It was about 7, 8 p.m. and the sun was down. We were sitting in one of the little motels down the road. I don't know what it was about that doctor's office, but I just didn't want to stay there. They did offer us to stay the night there and to watch over us, but I don't know what it was. Something about it just, I needed to leave there. So me and my brother left and stayed at that motel, and we couldn't sleep. We were just sitting in there in the room, just flipping through random TV channels and trying to plan our next move. when we first got to the little town, it was already getting dark. So by the time we got to the motel, it was pitch black. We were just sitting there, and my brother actually fell asleep, but I couldn't. I was just sitting there looking out the little front window that we had, and I could see all the way down the road. I could see the other little stores and even the doctor's office. I was sitting there just looking and being bored, and I couldn't sleep. I really couldn't. I tried. So the only thing that was giving me any type of reprieve was just looking down the street. At the far end of the road, I can see a little pub. A little place where everyone was, having a great time, drinking, partying. I guess they were oblivious to the world's end, I guess. Or maybe they were doing that to make themselves better, for all I knew. I could see a guy. He left the little pub and he was walking down the street towards the motel. He was, just a drunk idiot. You could tell he was drunk off his ass, stumbling. He even kind of fell for a second and had to pick himself up. He was walking, and I guess I caught his eye, and he saw that I was looking, and he immediately shouted some rude things, what the hell are you looking at, etc., etc. I didn't say nothing back. I just kept looking at him like I didn't care what he was gonna do. He can go ahead and try to fight me. I don't care. Not really in the right state of mind, so picking a fight with someone like me at this point isn't probably smart for him to do. But I didn't really care. He was just blowing hot air anyways, and he was just sitting there staring at me. When all of a sudden I could see something in the sky. Looked like bats. Almost like a huge swarm of bats. And they were moving really fast. They were above the little pub. And I looked up. I even opened the door and looked outside. They weren't just above the pub. They were above the whole little town. Okay. What are those? Are those bats? I asked myself. There's way too many of them to be bats. Well, they don't even look like bats. What are those? All I could hear was little fluttering and little shrieking sounds. I was starting to get concerned, so I immediately went inside. Looked out the window. Next thing I knew, the man that was talking shit to me down the street, he was actually walking towards the motel when he saw me leave the room. He saw me walk outside. He thought I was picking a fight with him, I guess. So he started walking towards me, and he was in a under a light post when he was walking around. But the second he walked into the dark, he was just erased. 1 second he's there, and the next I see those things just come down and he's gone. A few people saw what happened down the road and they immediately panicked. I saw a few of them try to make a break for their cars, but the second that they were in the dark, they were just gone. I immediately woke my brother up and told him what was going on and that we were under attack. We didn't know what to do, so we just stayed inside. We were waiting until one of those things actually busted through the window, and a few of them came through, and we thought we were done, but they immediately just fell to the ground and burned up. It seemed like they were immune and impossible to kill in the dark, but the second that they arrived in the light, they just burned up. Whatever these things were, me and my brother knew that the only option we had at this point was to just stay inside. What is going on? First those human-looking ones, then those weird ones with razor-sharp claws and teeth, and now this? When will this hell end?